3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. For all of our new listeners and viewers who are tuning in for the very first time, I'm Pastor Pope, and thank you for allowing us to come into your viewing environment. We are here with you every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted, to discuss whatever topics you might like to discuss, whatever issues of life you find challenging or that you find difficult to navigate. So you can discuss careers, finances, entrepreneurship. You can discuss marriage, divorce, raising children, blending families. You can discuss dating and relationships. Whatever's in your heart, whatever's on your mind, God is concerned about that which concerns you. And so we are here with you live in the FijiWater.com sponsored studio every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is brought to you daily by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. You may already know that Fiji Water comes from Fiji. However, did you know that it is created by nature? It is untouched by man. It starts as a tropical rainfall which slowly filters through layers of volcanic rock. The water collects in a natural, sustainable artesian aquifer where it is bottled right at the source, free from human contact until you unscrew the blue cap. Fiji Water, Earth's finest water, will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery, and you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is not just water. This is Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. And for those of you who continue giving on the gift segment of our app at New Life-Delaware, and those of you that have made a weekly or monthly commitment to support the broadcast by giving on the contribution page of our website at NewLifeMinistriesInternational.com, we thank you for your support and for your commitment as we fulfill our commitment to God to be here every Monday through Friday from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted. So I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, you know that we are on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube Live, and of course now we are on RadioFreeNetwork.com live from 12:30 p.m. until 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, scheduling permitted. We are going to be doing some expansion in the coming months, so just stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. But we are live on RadioFreeNetwork.com. Go to, click on radio, and when the drop box appears, go to the New Life link, click on New Life, and you will see all of the broadcasts that have been broadcast every day, Sunday through Friday. The Sunday sermon and 3D, the Daily Divine Direction broadcast. I'm going to address a communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that your daughter is dating a very nice man. However, your husband does not like him and finds reasons not to like him, when the truth is you feel that your husband believes that no one is ever good enough for his baby, you said. Okay. Your husband realizes that your daughter is a grown adult. He realizes that. There's a couple of things going on here, and I want to share with you what God showed me in that secret place of your life. Because as I was prayerful about this, God opened my eyes to see exactly what's going on here. And first and foremost, I'm going to say this. Your daughter's dating someone who's nice. The question that your husband has, is it a sustainable relationship? Is it going to be something that's going to last long term? Doesn't make him a bad guy, but your husband sees things that you don't see because your husband's been a man all his life. You don't see what your husband sees because you're only looking at it through your daughter's eyes. So it's not that he doesn't feel that anyone is good enough for his daughter. He has set a standard of hope for his daughter. He has set a standard of hope for the child the two of you have brought into this world and nurtured to become an adult. And his standard for her is higher than her standard for herself. And so, having said that, you have to recognize that he has a role as a father, you have a role as a mother. And his role is to not only protect his family, but to protect his daughter, who until he hands her off to another man to be a wife, he's responsible for her. Now, that's according to God's word, and that's according to God's will. He's responsible for making certain that she develops, that she grows, and that the standard he has set for her life is his expectation for her, for a mate, for a husband, for a significant other, for a husband. Because dating should be with purpose, with mission and purpose. You have to have a mission. Dating can't just be for entertainment, for a free meal, for sport. It has to be on a mission and with purpose, because otherwise you're just wasting time. So he has set a standard, and that standard is that he wants someone for her. Now, that doesn't imply he's perfect. He doesn't have the relationship with the Lord that he should have, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't want a godly man for his daughter. And you might say, well, that's setting unrealistic expectations because it's not something that she has witnessed. Well, that may be true, but we still want better for our children than maybe we have done for ourselves. So he has set this expectation, and that expectation is he wants someone who is going to love her, someone who's going to provide for her, someone who's going to protect her, and someone who will build a great quality of life. Now, that's a good place to build on your foundation. Of course, the foundation has to be in Christ. And that's the reason I've been encouraging everyone to date differently, to really use a different method for dating. But in addition to that, your husband's a good man. He may not be the godly man you want him to be, but he's a good man. You know, he has done all of the necessary things to provide for his family. He's done all of the necessary things to protect his family. He's done all the necessary things to build a good life for the two of you and your children. But he's got a responsibility. And that responsibility is to make certain that you have two children. Well, you have two children that are adults. And his responsibility is to make certain that your son becomes a man and that your daughter is chosen by a man who's going to build a quality of life for the two of them. They're going to work together to build a quality of life. You know, it's very interesting. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about what it is like being a parent. So we have two children also, a boy and a girl. And we have always felt that we have a responsibility to our children. And the same scenario, that our son grows to become a man and that our daughter grows to become a woman, a godly woman and a godly man, meaning that they will be able to build their life on the foundation in Christ Jesus. That's going to be important for every one of us. Some of us didn't know that when we were younger and living in the world, but we want better for the next generation. So all he's really trying to accomplish is to make certain that your daughter doesn't end up with someone who is not going to do better for the two of them than your husband has done with you for your family. That's a good standard. That's a good standard to live by. But we have to understand the importance of realizing that it's not because no one's good enough. He just wants to make certain that the right person is good enough for your daughter. So this is not a bad thing. Let me make certain that we're clear on something here. It's not a bad thing for men to want more for their daughters. You know, and if any of us have any good sense, we want the man that our daughters are chosen by to be better than we are. Because we know we haven't been perfect. But we want them to be even better than we are. And if we live by that standard, then we can only believe that the next generation is going to be much better and much greater than the generation we've become. So I say to you, allow him to be the father. You continue to be the mother. Let him do what he's doing with challenging your daughter and whomever she brings before the two of you, because that's going to help her to really enjoy and experience a better quality of life. And that should be important for all of us. So for all of our listeners and viewers, let me just say this. If we are engaged parents, if we are actively involved, and I'm not talking about living our children's lives, I'm not talking about controlling their lives, I'm talking about being actively involved in their lives. We should, without question, want more for them than we want for ourselves. Because every generation should be better than the generation before. And if they can do that, then our families are only going to be stronger and become better. You know, when you look around, and this is for our listener and viewer who sent in this communication, when you look around at the quality of your life right now, and you can say to yourself, I can only imagine what the life of my children will be like. I can only imagine if they perform at a higher level than you and your husband are performing today. If they can accomplish more than the two of you have accomplished today, their lives are going to be blessed. They're going to be a better generation. And that's all we can really hope for. That's our goal as parents. That's all we can truly hope for. And then someday you hope that when your children get married and they have children, that generation too will be better. And that the generation after them will be better. We don't want to go backwards. We want to move forward. Because in Christ we live and move and we have our being. We experience the fullness of God in our lives. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. So if you are not currently a T-Mobile customer, you may call or text on the T-Mobile call or text line at 267-992-1424. We will place you into our queue so that you can become a T-Mobile customer and experience America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. Taxes and fees will be included in your bill, and if you auto pay by attaching a credit card to your account, pardon me, you will receive a discount on your monthly bill at T-Mobile, America's largest, fastest, and most reliable 5G provider at no extra charge. It sounds like I need a sip of this Fiji water, so I'm going to unscrew the blue cap, if you'll bear with me for one moment, so that my voice is not scratchy throughout the remainder of this broadcast. But I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, it is real important that we understand the significance of experiencing the fullness of God, building great quality lives. And so, I'm really delighted that our last listener and viewer sent in that communication, because it's important that we understand our role as parents, and we understand the responsibility that God has placed upon us to be parents. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you are not as confident as you once were and would like to know how to regain your confidence. You know, This is a very interesting communication, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because you start out with confidence because you've been able to be educated, you've been able to have a career, you've been able to move forward in life. And then because life happens to us all, and you think about the things that have happened or could have happened, it starts to whittle away or erode our confidence. But I'm going to tell you today how to regain your confidence. What you have to do is reflect upon, first of all, how far you've come. And I'm not talking about being arrogant. I'm not talking about, thinking that you've done it all by yourself. Because first of all, you haven't done anything without God, without His mercy, without His grace, and without His mercy. But in addition to that, it's not about being arrogant. What it's really about is reflecting upon how far you've come so that you can realize just how far you can go. Where you started out in life and where you are today, what you've achieved to this point, not what you think you should have achieved, not looking around, comparing yourself to anyone else and saying, they've done better than I have done, because you don't really know if they have the quality of life that you perceive that they have. You have to look at what you've achieved. What have you accomplished today that has allowed you to have a quality of life? Forget about the things you've had, the challenges you've had to face to overcome to get to this point. Forget about the difficulties that you've had to face to get to this point. You're here. No matter, that just means that you are definitely victorious to this point in life. And what I mean by that is you faced challenges that were difficult. You overcame them. You faced difficulties in life that you've been able to overcome. What's happened is that the challenges and difficulties have worn you down to the point, have eroded your confidence to the point where your perception of your life is not as great as your life. Your life is great right now. You have, and it continues to be so. You are living a life that many people would desire to live, because you've been able to overcome the challenges. You've been able to overcome the difficulties. And here you are today. And you have to reflect upon that and be grateful and be thankful. But you have to say to yourself, I've been able to, with the grace and mercy of God, get to this place and achieve this quality of life. And if you've been able to achieve this, just only imagine what life can be like moving forward. Because first of all, none of this was done by you alone. It was done with the grace and mercy of God and the love that you and your spouse have for one another. You've been able to work and to continue moving forward. Many of us and none of us start out with a silver spoon in our hand. We look for opportunities. We get our education. We look for opportunities. We explore the opportunities. And if we are really focused, we maximize the opportunities. And we continue to move forward. But you have to be grateful. And you know what's interesting? You're grateful for where you are. But you still focus on the challenges and difficulties that you have had to overcome to get here. And you then begin to think your perception of other people's lives makes you feel smaller, that you haven't accomplished, but you have accomplished. None of us have arrived, because we don't arrive until we get to heaven. But you've accomplished, and you continue to accomplish and achieve. And all you have to do is really focus on how you've been blessed. And when I say that, not the challenges or the difficulties, but how good God has been to you. And only imagine what he has in store for you. And if you can believe at that level, if you can believe that he's got so much more for you when you've already been blessed, you've got to say to yourself, there's no reason not to be confident. There's no reason not to be confident knowing that God has brought you this far. Now, you've done your part, so I'm going to encourage you to continue doing your part. Stay focused. Don't turn to the left, don't turn to the right. I'm going to give away a little bit of an upcoming sermon, but I'm going to say this because I literally sat and watched something very interesting, and I don't waste a lot of time watching things online, but I saw something that I thought was very interesting, and it was the tortoise and the hare. And you know, the rabbit started out running, and he got about halfway, and while he was running fast, the tortoise was moving slow, and then he got about halfway down the track, and the rabbit started paying attention to the noise, started looking to the left, started looking to the right, started turning to the left, started turning to the right, and didn't go anywhere. The tortoise kept moving. The tortoise never turned its head. He just kept looking straight ahead. And he kept focusing on where he was going. And eventually, the rabbit moved a little further, but the tortoise kept going. And the tortoise finally crossed the finish line. And you know, these little things always look like sermons to me, but I have to tell you, the Bible tells us don't turn your head to the left, don't turn to the right, don't turn to the left or the right. Stay focused on where God is taking you. You don't need to focus on where you've been. You need to be thankful for where you've been and how far you've come. You need to be grateful for getting here. But you've achieved enough to build a great quality of life. Enjoy that. You don't have to, without arrogance, but enjoy that knowing that God has so much more for you. You just have to be confident in that, knowing that, and move forward to go and get what God has appointed for your life. This segment of the broadcast is brought to you by Under Armour Golf, which now powers the Junior League, a national league for boys and girls ages 6 through 18 of all skill levels of golf. Under Armour Golf is advancing the game of golf for all children. We are thankful that Under Armour Golf has given children ages 6 through 18 the opportunity through the Junior League to enjoy and experience the game of golf and to network at a whole nother level. Golf is a game that will allow you to network for 4 to 4.5 hours, depending on how well you play, with someone, and you will never have that opportunity on any other level other than playing the game of golf. So, what you can do is go to Under Armour Golf and support the Junior League by purchasing from Under Armour Golf if you're a golfer like myself or you have a loved one who's a golfer. And the great thing about Under Armour is they provide all type of athletic gear and wear that will enhance your lifestyle and that will enhance your game of golf. Go to underarmour.com/golf. I'm going to address another communication that came in from one of our listeners and viewers who indicated that you and your sister had a disagreement and are now not speaking to one another. Really? However, you would like to find a way to move beyond this and get back to your normal relationship. Listen, it's not like the two of you got into a physical confrontation. You got into a disagreement. It's really not that deep. And so the good news is you want to move beyond this. Your sister's a little bit more difficult, and God allowed me to see in that secret place of your life. I know your sister's a little more difficult, but you can get beyond this, and let me tell you how you get beyond this. Pick up the phone and call your sister and just simply say to her, listen, pardon me for allowing my emotions to create or participate in this disagreement. I want to enjoy my sibling. This is what you say to her. I want to enjoy my sibling. I want the relationship that we've always had. This is not something that is irreparable. It's not something that even will not allow the two of you to ever be the same again. This was just simply a disagreement. And God allowed me to see in that secret place of both your lives. Here's the reality. That disagreement is not something that should have caused the two of you to stop speaking to one another, let alone miss out on enjoying your sibling. And it's just the two of you. Your parents are now deceased. It's just you and your sister. And now you're not speaking to one another over something that really is not that significant. You both just had a bad moment, and now you've allowed that to separate the two of you to the point where you're not speaking to one another. Come on, let's do better than that. And now neither one of you pick up the phone to call each other. Just pick up the phone. Pick up the phone, address the issue, make certain that you restore the relationship that the two of you have, so that you can continue to be there for one another as you've always been since your parents went to heaven. Now, I'm going to say this to you. You might be feeling right now, why do I have to pick up the telephone? And the reason is because if you don't, she's not going to pick up the telephone. She's going to continue to allow your relationship to be just what it is right now, and you're going to miss out on enjoying one another. And you both know how short life can be, because your mother passed first some years ago. Your father then passed a couple of years ago, and now it's just the two of you. So you know, in the twinkling of an eye, everything can change. Don't allow that to change between the two of you simply over a disagreement. It's not worth it. Pick up the telephone and make that call. Today's Daily Divine Direction broadcast, as always, is brought to you by Fiji Water, Earth's finest water. This is not just water, it's Fiji water. The taste of paradise will be delivered right to your front door when you subscribe for delivery. And you'll save money at FijiWater.com. This is Earth's finest water. I want to say, I want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, we are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, and now we are live on RadioFreeNetwork.com. So you can go to RadioFreeNetwork.com, click on radio, the drop box will appear, click on New Life, and you will see all of the broadcasts that we are broadcasting every day, Sunday through Friday. The only day of the week that we are not on the air is on Saturday, and that's my Sabbath. That's the day that I'm in church on Sunday, but that's the day I take for myself to prepare my spirit for the Sunday sermon on Sunday. But Sunday through Friday, you can find one of our broadcasts to encourage you and inspire you to experience the fullness of God in all of our lives. May God bless you today. May God keep his face turned towards you. May God give you peace that surpasses all understanding. Have a great day today. I look forward to being in your viewing environment tomorrow. God bless you.